and welcome back to J.P.'s world of wrestling. I am your man, J.P. So, I just finished my Jack's Pacific series. 3, because I don't have any more, but I'm going to talk a little bit about my only Zombie Sailor Toys figure. Now, I've already done a video where I talk extensively about this guy and his figure. So instead of going back into his career retrospective like I've been doing, I'm going to put over Zombie Sailor Toys and any independent action figure toy company out there, because I love this figure. This is probably my favorite wrestling figure, just because of the pose and just because of the realistic look of the figure. And I love this figure. And what I love about it is Zombie Sailor Toys, they're not putting their figures in stupid poses. Well, with the first group of wrestling figures that they came out with a Brian Myers figure whose legs were kind of fused together like the jumpers, which I didn't really, whatever. I don't have anything against Brian Myers. Him and Matt Cardona are two modern independent wrestlers who used to wrestle for WWE as Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, but they are also very big action figure collectors, and they have a whole podcast where they talk about nothing but wrestling figures. So I like that, but they, for whatever reason, when Zombie Sailor Toys came out with their first group of figures, Matt Cardona and Brian Myers were two of the figures that they came out with. But the thing is, Mattel Retros already came out with a Matt Cardona figure or a Zack Ryder figure, and the Brian Myers figure that these guys came out with, I didn't really like, because I don't like, my opinion about the fused legs ones. I don't like them, but for that particular series, though, they also came out with this one. They had an Earl Hebner referee figure, and I forget what other ones they came out with for this line. But they came out with a Sabu figure. I know that. So this is the one for that series besides Earl Hebner that I really wanted. So I just went ahead and bought this one. They run about $40. And I don't really have the moolah to buy all of the figures. But I pre-ordered one from their second series. Now, their second series had King Kong Bundy, Andre the Giant, Raven, Bruiser Brody, and Nick Gage. Now, Nick Gage, for those of you who don't know, is the top star from GCW, which is like a deathmatch wrestling promotion. Now, particularly, I'm not into that style of wrestling. I'm not putting it down. Just me personally, I'm not really into that style of wrestling. So, but the figure itself looks cool, and the Bruiser Brody figure looked cool. But since Hasbro already made an Andre the Giant figure, I kind of wanted one that Hasbro never did. So I picked King Kong Bundy, because I grew up watching King Kong Bundy, and it would have been cool to have a Hasbro figure of Bundy. So I ordered that one. But these are really cool figures, and there's a couple of other independent wrestling figure companies out there that are making really cool looking figures. One of them is Hastel Toys. Those guys, now I don't have any of his figures, but they just did a Tony Norris figure, also known as Ahmed Johnson. And I've seen that figure, and that figure is awesome. Like, they put him in just like a regular wrestling pose. They didn't put him in some ridiculous pose. So, and one thing I forgot to mention about the Jack's Pacific figures is that since they overproduced a lot of them, they really, really overproduced the Ahmed Johnson figure. It seems like every time I would go to Toys R Us, they would have rows and rows and rows of Ahmed Johnson figures because they just made to me. It's not that we didn't want them; it's just most of us already had an Ahmed Johnson, and I didn't need another one. Anyway, so Hastel Toys, they came out with the Tony Norris, Ahmed Johnson, but they also came out with a Salvio Vega figure, which also looks awesome. But they also did Men on a Mission, Mo, Mabel, and Oscar. And those figures, those look cool, but I was never really into Men on a Mission. I didn't like Mabel. I didn't care about Mo or those guys. I didn't care about the tag team. The one figure the Hastel Toys came out with that I thought about getting was the Tony Norris figure and possibly the Savio Vega. But apart from that, nah. But I think they also came out with a Godfather figure. But again, that's Attitude Era. I don't really care about Attitude Era. But anyway, but these independent figure makers, they're coming out with some really cool looking figures. The only thing is, each individual figure costs like kind of a lot of money, which if you think about what you're getting, it's actually understandable, but I just don't have the dinero to spend on figures right now. But yeah, I'm still waiting on my King Kong Bundy figure, and I'll show that to you when I get it. But I just had to put over Zombie Sailor Toys, Hastel Toys, and then there's another one called Cella Toys. They've got some pretty cool figures too, which include the Blue World Order, and I think something else. They've got another. I think they might have an Avatar figure. Basically, it's like Al Snow, basically. And then there's another toy company out there that has released new versions of these bone crunching action figures. They've got an Ultimo Dragon and a Sonny Ono, which was a WCW manager. They've got an Atom Bomb, and I think one other one that you can order. And that's actually pretty cool, I think. Anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to put over these independent wrestling figure toy companies because I think their figures look very, very cool, and they're doing a really good job. In this figure, there's no stupid power action move. It's just a wrestling figure. This is what wrestling figures should be. So, Mattel Creations, take note. Anyway, that is going to conclude this video. So, if you're new here, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it on social media if you want, and I'll see you next time.